Good morning. I'm John Jones, Chairman of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. This meeting is being conducted pursuant to the notice provisions of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act, with all participating authority members attending in person. While this meeting is open in public, there will be no public comment, as is OTA's longstanding historical practice. In addition to being open to the public for an in-person observation, the meeting is being live streamed and recorded for remote viewing. The time is 10 a.m. and I'm calling the April 2nd, 2024 regular meeting of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority to order. Charity, please call the roll.
Mr. Olberry.
Here.
Mr. Todd Cone.
Here.
Mr. Gene Love.
Here.
Mr. John Titsworth.
Here.
Ms. Dana Weber.
Here.
And Mr. John Jones.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. First item this morning are several awards. The first one, Julie Porter. Morning, Julie.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority. It's my pleasure to tell you today that our external auditors, Forvis, have completed their external audit of our December 31, 2023 financial statements. Last week, as is their practice, our auditors conducted their communications to those charged with governance, who, for the purposes of OTA, is our audit committee. So we met with them last week, and they did all of their required communications. They indicated that they were issuing an unqualified opinion, and those opinions will be included in our annual comprehensive financial report, which I'm going to refer to as the ACFR for the remainder of this conversation. We will distribute those in April later, electronically first, and then we will also issue a hard copy to meet our trust required deadlines. As is our practice, OTA annually submits the completed ACFR to GFOA. And you'll remember GFOA is another fancy acronym that stands for the Government Finance Officers Association for the United States and Canada. So you can understand why we just call them GFOA. GFOA has a program called the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. A certificate of achievement is awarded for reports that are easily readable, efficiently organized, satisfy generally accepted accounting principles, and meet all applicable legal requirements. It is my pleasure to let you know that for the 33rd, and yes, I did say 33rd consecutive year, the OTA has been awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for its December 31, 2022 ACFR. This is, again, the highest form of recognition in the area of governmental accounting and financial reporting. The GFOA, in their press release, stated that this report was judged by an impartial panel to meet the high standards of the program, including demonstration of a constructive spirit of full disclosure to clearly communicate its financial story. We have done this for 33 years. I'm very proud of my team for that accomplishment. The publication of this ACFR and all the ones before would not be possible without the diligent and dedicated efforts of the leadership team and the support staff that work in the Comptroller Division. They work tirelessly through the first quarter every year. You can't do this for 33 years without being committed to it and being diligent. I have often joked with my team that we don't really have accounting emergencies. We don't have to hurry in and do an accrual. But just like our maintenance peers spend hours in the wee hours of the morning working an accident, or our IT peers might get called to go and deal with a fiber cut in the middle of the night, it's not unusual for my team during this first quarter to spend 2 a.m. trying to work on a pension footnote or discuss the subscription-based asset items that are a new accounting pronouncement this year at 9:30 p.m. So just as our peers work tirelessly through the year, through all situations, so does the accounting staff. And I think that's one of those areas that you don't really see that because they're accountants. They're over here, they're not on the road, they're not hooking your computer up, but they're preparing your financial statements for 33 consecutive years. Very, very proud of that. OTA is very fortunate to have such a great group of employees throughout our entire organization, and I am particularly proud of the Comptroller Division. Their efforts to ensure that our financial statements are accurate, complete, and meet our high standards of transparency and accountability go above and beyond. I would like to ask our Comptroller, Micah Gardner, and her leadership team, Bridget Patterson and Mitzi Gross, to join me to receive recognition for our outstanding achievement. If you'll come up.
Members appreciate you and your team very, very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Our next awards are to be presented by TJ Deal. Morning, TJ.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. With your permission, I would like to bring Brent Burwell with the Oklahoma chapter of ACPA to the podium. A couple more hardware to hand out this morning. I'm always happy to bring those to you, and a couple of pretty substantial projects we've done here lately that Brent's going to talk about for us.
Thank you, TJ. Director E. Kelly, Mr. Chairman, members of Authority, it's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Oklahoma chapter of the American Concrete Pavement Association, and especially to recognize the great work of the men and women who produce these projects. There are some unsung heroes. There's a lot of hard work, even from the authority that recommends and approves these projects down to the person that turns the last shovel of dirt. There are a lot of people and a lot of effort go into these projects, and I don't know that the public always realizes how much work it takes. And so it's a great honor to be able to recognize their hard work, especially when they achieve the level of excellence as these projects have. If you'll recall, a couple months ago, I think it was the January Commission meeting, we brought back a national award. And that just goes to show that Oklahoma is capable of producing some of the best concrete pavements in the country, anywhere. And I've been doing this job for a couple decades now, and Oklahoma collectively, that's ODOT, OTA, cities, airports, we've never failed to bring home national awards. So we've had some every year. Not every state can say that. Very few states, in fact, can say that. We're one of the few. So again, I think that speaks to your efforts and the efforts of our members and everyone associated with these projects. So today we've got two more that we'd like to recognize. In order for them to be eligible for the national award, like the one we recognized last year, or a couple of months ago, they have to first win local or state awards. And that's what we're looking at today. Last month, we recognized 6 projects across the state for excellence in paving. And 2 of those were OTA jobs. And we're going to call those folks up right now and present those awards here. The first one we'd like to recognize is the Turner Turnpike and US 66 Interchange. The design engineer was EST. The resident engineer was Atkins Realis, and the contractor was Sherwood Construction Company. So I believe we've got, TJ, you can call those folks up. We're going to have a photo.
Yes. Okay. I'll let you hold out in the middle with them.
Okay. And the second project we want to recognize is the State Highway 74 and Memorial Road interchange. We've reworked that interchange. And although I don't drive that very often, I understand that this is a kind of a small project, but it created quite a traffic mess. And this reconfiguration of those traffic movements in there, from what I understand, it's just like night and day. It's greatly helped the flow of traffic and the safety in that area. So we're very proud of this project. Design engineer was Olson. The resident engineer was Fries and Nichols, and the contractor was Allen Contracting. So let's get those folks up here for a photo.
Can y'all move that way a little bit?
You're going to put that over in the middle.
Right there, yeah. Just making sure I can see you. Okay. You're your badge, and then Jeff, I need you to move that, Jeff, just a little right there. I couldn't see him behind you. You're too tall. Thank you. Congratulations.
Next item is an award that TJ Deal is going to present. Thank you, TJ.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and good morning again to everyone. I get the privilege this morning of recognizing an individual that has accomplished something that, to the best that we can find, has only occurred 10 times in the history of the OTA, which is 40 years of service, as well as a chance to honor his retirement all at the same time. So, Mr. Mark Kalka started his career with OTA on March 15th, 1984, as a Transportation Worker 1 on the Turner Turnpike, working out of the Stroud Maintenance Facility. 2 years in, he was promoted to Transportation Worker 2, and in March of '89, 5 years after his hire date, Mark interviewed and was selected for the Senior Transportation Maintenance Worker. In March of '94, he again continued his career as the Transportation Maintenance Supervisor at the Wellston Maintenance Facility on the Turner Turnpike. And over the next few years, Mark continued to make a name for himself until he was selected as the Program Coordinator in 1998, where he would be tasked with building a heavy equipment training and testing program from the ground up, which turned into a massive success for all of our maintenance staff, including a 5% pay incentive for all employees who completed that training, which Mark was instrumental in making happen. July of 2002, 4 years after coming to headquarters from the field, and 18 years after his employment started, he was selected as the Assistant Director of Maintenance. And a short 2 years later, in December of 2004, Mark became the Director of Maintenance, which is what he holds today. During his tenure, he has made several contributions that have changed the way we perform maintenance around the state, but most notably, he is responsible with bringing the first tow plows to the state of Oklahoma in 2011, which changed the game for snow removal on our turnpike system. He is a mentor and a friend to many, and we would definitely like to honor him today for his 40 years of service to the authority and celebrate the legacy of hard work and commitment that Mark has brought to the job. And Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'd like to read the governor's commendation today for Mark. Says, be it resolved, this governor's commendation is hereby presented to Mark Kalka for 40 years of dedicated service to the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. Thank you for your dedication to Oklahoma, and congratulations on your retirement. I wish you well in your next chapter and pray that you enjoy the adventures to come. We would like to wish Mark and his family the best as he enters retirement in a couple of months. We cannot thank his family, especially his wife Carla, enough for the sacrifices that they have made over these 40 years. There's no question that this job in particular has been disruptive to Mark's family life, and we sure don't take that for granted, but we do very much appreciate everything that goes into that. And Mark, we hope that you enjoy Carla's company and your next pot of hot coffee as you watch the next snowstorm from the comfort of your recliner, because, sir, you've earned it. Yeah.
I would just like to comment that there are a lot of wonderful people at the OTA, but I don't know if there's any that are more dedicated than Mark Kalka. So thank you so much for all you've done for me, for the Turnpike Authority, for the state.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll try to keep my comments brief. Would like to thank the board and the boards previous to this for all the support they've given me in my career, for all the people at the administrative office. Couldn't have done this without you. Jenny, special thanks. You know why. And I would like to thank Tim Stewart. Tim went out on a limb and brought me up 26 years ago. Tim, thank you very much. I saw David Murdoch. David Murdoch's always been there for me. Can't say enough good things about Doc. Would like to recognize the 10 superintendents. Guys, if you'd stand up briefly. Steve Allen and Mike Collins, my assistant directors of maintenance. Jeremy Smith is the program coordinator. Any success that we've had as a division can easily be traced back to these guys. Thank you so much. Carla, couldn't have done it without you. 26 years ago, I was in my comfort spot on the Turner Turnpike. Really felt like I'd ended my career there, but appreciate the faith, and it's been a good ride. Thank you so much.
Mark, thank you. The next award is from our Executive Director, Joey Kelly.
Thank you, sir. Got another special retirement that's upcoming. And then here in a second, we're going to invite David Mockmer to the microphone to say a few words. He asked for a minute at the microphone for every year of service. So he asked for 34 minutes. We told him we'd give him a second for every minute, for every year. So David Mockmer began his career with Oklahoma Turnpike Authority in April 1990 as an internal auditor. He was part of the auditing team that audited Pike Pass when it began on January 1st, 1991. David was promoted to the position of Toll Operations Director in July 1992. Not only did he oversee the work directly with the toll collection staff, he also led many upgrades to the Pike Pass system, from the hard case tags with batteries to the stickers that are available today, and lots of other options in between that we've vetted and tried and didn't pass our tests. So in recent years, he has guided the toll staff through the transition to cashless tolling, which has been its own unique challenge and unique to the Turnpike Authority for sure. David has represented the OTA by serving on the board of the Board of International Bridge, Tunnel, and Turnpike Association IBTTA, and has served on the Toll Excellence Award Committee for almost 20 years. He also served as chair for the Alliance for Toll Interoperability, which was a nationwide organization. In addition, David was instrumental in establishing peer-to-peer interoperability with Kansas and NTTA that later evolved into the Central U.S. Interoperability Hub's inception in 2016. David served as the Central U.S. Interoperability Steering Committee member representing OTA for several years. For the past 9 years, David has served on OTA's executive staff, and he will mark his 34th year at OTA this coming Friday, April the 5th. David had made many lifelong friends with the OTA, is well respected in the toll industry, and has been labeled as an innovator. He built a strong management team within cash toll collection management and electronic toll management. We want to thank David for his hard work and dedication to the state and to OTA, and we wish him well in his retirement. For me personally, the last several years, I think it was 2018, 2018, I became the chief engineer and became a peer for David, and he really worked as a mentor, helping me get up to speed on some of the toll operations that I understood. As far as building it, I didn't understand the back office and the intricacies to it. David and Mary have been instrumental in getting me up to speed on that. As things changed and I became deputy director, David really has been a mentor for me, somebody that I've bounced a lot of ideas off of, some of them not so good, and that's the reason we've not done some not so good ideas, because David's been able to filter through some of the things that that I've thought about trying to do. So David, thank you for your service, and really thank you for all of your help. Thank you, sir. Please. Forgot. But you stay right there. I do have a governor's commendation that I'd like to read real briefly, and it's good all the eyes can be on you while I try to read this. So whereas the state of Oklahoma is dedicated to providing a strong transportation infrastructure system for travel and commerce on both the local and national levels, and whereas the construction and maintenance of Oklahoma highways, interstates, and turnpikes must be done while roads are still under traffic, where both motorists and highway workers must share the road, and whereas this is the work zone awareness deal. I'm so sorry. This is just pretty normal for me. You guys will get used to it. TJ gave me a nod, and I thought this was what I was supposed to read. I am so sorry.
Is this being recorded? I'm going to play it back for myself when I'm retired.
Here it is. Okay. I am so sorry about that. Be it resolved, this governor's commendation is hereby presented to David Mockimer for 37 years of dedicated service to the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. Thank you for your dedication to Oklahoma, and congratulations on your retirement. I wish you well on your next chapter and pray that you enjoy the adventures to come. Signed, Governor J. Kevin Stitt.
Thank you, Joe. So, I was kind of disappointed. I told Joe, I said I wanted a minute for every year I've been here, and so I got to cut the 34 minutes down to 36 seconds, and I cut my 34-page speech down to a little bullet points here. But talking with Chairman Jones on the way in, when I started here, I never anticipated that, boy, I'm going to be the toll operations director one day, or even be in tolling. I wanted to be Julie, because I came in, Yeah. You see how that turned out. So, you know, when I first started OTA, I was working on my master's degree in accounting, and I was a CPA, and so I had inspired to be the CFO. We didn't have one at the time, but I think later we had one for a short period. But so I had Alan Freeman come to me and make me an offer I couldn't refuse. He says, "Hey, we got a job over here. We need you to apply for it." And so at first I'm going, why would I want to do that? And so when I got into it, I'm going, you know, really I was trained to run a business, so that's what I ended up doing, and I never looked back. And, you know, I can't even do my own taxes anymore. I used to do that for a living, but I want to thank this board for supporting me over the years. The agenda items I'd bring to you help further us going cashless, something we've been working on now for quite a few years, but it's coming along, and we're down to our last 3. So, you know, I've worked with 9 boards, about 40 different board members. I mean, I started when Henry Bellman was the governor. I'm not sure about Mark, but, you know, I'm shy of 3 years of making it 40. So admire the fact that you got 3 more years on me, but don't know if Henry Bellman was the governor when you started, but he actually would come to all our meetings, which I was very impressed. You know, I'd like to thank Holly Lowe. I don't think she's here. Oh, there she is, Holly. She is the one that actually hired me, so she's responsible for this standing up here. You know, as eternal auditor. Tim Stewart, thank you. You know, he was our executive director. Thanks for not firing me for whatever. No, I'm just kidding about that. I don't think we ever had crosswords with each other. Joe, thank you. Again, I enjoyed mentoring you because that's what I said to Mary. I said, hey, when Joe comes in, we need to make sure he knows tolling and not learn it from the field. We want him to get it from us. So that worked out really well. Special thanks to my team over the years, Johnny Melton, who I've worked with most. Mary, thank you for the time you spent as the toll operations director. You know, special thanks again to the people that I work with. These are dedicated, loyal folks. They're subject matter experts in each of their areas, and really they are what kept me coming to work every day. You know, it's not just the work, but it's the people you work with. We work great as a team, gotten to be real good friends with most of them, and I'm going to miss them. That's the first thing I'm going to miss when I get out of bed is I can't go visit with anybody. So expect a phone call from me, you know, about 8:05. But anyway, but you know, I'm a goals and accomplishments driven, and you know, as work-wise, that's what kept me coming. I'll be watching from the sidelines the rest of the going cashless, and you know, that has been a major accomplishment from the whole team trying to convert the system. I'll especially watching the widening on the Kilpatrick on the east end because that's right behind my house. So I know the 1-800 number who to call. So thank you for 34 wonderful years. I spent half my life at the OTA, and OTA will always be in my heart. Thank you. I just wanted to say quickly, congratulations, David, and also
like so many of our long-term members of the Turnpike Authority, you have proven not only creativity, as was discussed, adaptability, and you just quietly make things happen, and you've done that for many years, both you and Mark. So thank you for all of your years of service.
Thank you, David. Proceeding on with our items, you all received a copy of the minutes from our meeting of March 5th. I ask for a motion for approval of those minutes.
So moved.
Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Love. We have a motion for approval and a second of the minutes for the regular meeting of March 5th, 2024. Please vote electronically. The voting is ended and the minutes have been approved. Now on to our items of business. The first is from the financial item category. Mr. Todd Cohn.
Mr. Chairman, item number 1181, Matt Luffelholtz. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Submitted for consideration and approval of the authority is a request to authorize the director to negotiate and execute a 3-year renewal of maintenance and support for VMware Virtual Software Platform for an amount not to exceed $809,422.50. This maintenance renewal is essential to ensure our software infrastructure continued reliability and performance. The proposed maintenance renewal will provide ongoing support and updates, ensuring it remains up to date and fully functional. This is a critical maintaining operational efficiency and minimizing the risk of system disruptions. Staff has reviewed the above item and recommends approval. And I'd also like to add that we received a discount for a 3-year renewal, saving OTA about $300,000.
Any questions? If there are none, then I would move for approval of item 1181 as presented.
We have a motion for approval of item 1181. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thanks, Ms. Weber. Please vote appropriately. The voting is ended and item 1181 has been approved.
Thank you, Matt. Mr. Chairman, item 1182 is presented by Micah Gardner.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority. Item number 1182 is the payment register prepared by the Comptroller Division. This includes all payments made for the month of February 2024. The staff has reviewed and recommends this item for approval.
Any questions? If not, Mr. Chairman, I would move for approval of item 1182 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1182. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thanks, Ms. Weber. Please vote appropriately. Voting is ended and item 1182 has been approved. The next items on the agenda are from the Engineering and Construction Division. Mr. Wilberry.
Thank you, Chairman Jones. First item is item 1183, will be presented by Mrs. Nelson.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, members of the authority, Director E. Kelly. Item 1183 has 4 items submitted for the consideration of approval. The first item we have is CMC 29/CKTMC 23. This is the AET conversion of the Cimarron Turnpike at locations US 64, US 177, State Highway 99, and the Cimarron Spur. It also has a location on the Creek Turnpike at 11th Street in Tulsa. The contractor is Manhattan Road and Bridge. This is for change order number 1 and supplemental agreement number 8. This is for the agreed amount of $553,688.53. It also has a time extension of 51 days. This change order adds 1 new item, overruns one pay item, and grants time back to the contractor for additional work. Removal of pavement rumble panels was necessary as the Cassius tolling conversion process eliminated the stopping action at US 177 and State Highway 99 tolling points along the Cimarron Turnpike. The existing median pavement was utilized as a driving lane during Phase 1 of construction and was damaged at US 177 and State Highway 99 locations. The replacement of these panels was necessary for final completion and repairing of all damages. Additional unclassified excavation quantity was required at US 177 and State Highway 99 interchanges during the phased construction process at these locations, otherwise unaccounted for in the plans. This change order also grants 51 days back to the contract. 32 days are added for the additional earthwork necessary for the State Highway 99 interchange, and 6 days are added for the US 177 interchange. 13 days are added due to the rock encountered within the pavement shoulders at the State Highway 99 location. This material encountered delayed the critical path due to slower production rates for excavation and guardrail installation. This change order contains all time, material, labor, and equipment necessary to perform this work. Next item we have is GCT 2500. This is on the Gilcrease Expressway. The contractor is Gilcrease Developers. This is for supplemental agreement number 31 for the agreed amount of $437,229.93. The supplemental agreement adds a total of 5 new items to the contract to compensate the contractor for additional work. 3 items are being added for the required boring and service connections for Waterline C. Boring was necessary to allow for construction of Waterline C to be completed without closing 41st Street or Gilcrease Road to traffic. An item for temporary power for traffic signals was added to facilitate the opening of the Gilcrease Turnpike prior to the completion of the electrical service connections by a local utility company. The completion of permanent power connections was delayed due to the material shortages at the time caused by the pandemic. Lastly, an item for right-of-way fencing changes is necessary to provide the additions and deletions to the planned fencing at various locations along the corridor to meet field conditions. These items contain all material, labor, and equipment necessary to perform this work. SP 63A, this is the AT conversion on the Turner Turnpike. The contractor is Robinson Construction. This is for change order number 4 and supplemental agreement number 2 for the agreed amount of $138,140.50. This change order adds 3 new items to the contract to compensate the contractor for additional work. An item for channelizer cones is needed to temporarily delineate the ramp lanes during the testing of the new tolling equipment before the permanent delineation is installed. An item for electrical equipment is needed to complete the installation for the cashless tolling equipment at Kellyville, Wellston, and Luther to utilize the existing power. Lastly, an item for solid slab sodding is added at a reduced unit price due to the significant overrun of the existing item. The additional sod is needed for full stabilization prior to completion of the project to control erosion and attain the termination of the ODQ stormwater permit. These new items contain all material, labor, and equipment necessary to perform this work. The last item for consideration is for TMC 128C. This is the frontage road, county road, retaining wall, and bridge 43.4 on the Turner Turnpike. The contractor is Sherwood Construction. This is for change order number 1 and supplemental agreement number 1 for the agreed amount of $330,477.22. This also has a time extension of 10 days. The supplemental agreement adds 4 new items and 10 days to the contract time and bid time to compensate the contractor for additional work. Rock excavation is being added due to encountering underlying rock in planned excavation areas on the frontage road between State Highway 99 and Old Stroud Road, as well as the new bridge headers of the Old Stroud Road Bridge. Unclassified excavation is being underran by the same quantity of added rock excavation to offset the planned cost. 10 days are also being credited for this work due to the reduced production for rock excavation compared to unclassified excavation expected at the time of bid. Curb and gutter is being added to connect the frontage road to the existing pavement on State Highway 99, otherwise unaccounted for in the plans. Removal of concrete pavement is being added for the planned Turner Turnpike shoulder removal under the Old Stroud Road Bridge, which was unaccounted for in the bid quantities. Lastly, display arrow Type C boards are being added to provide proper direction for the traveling public during necessary lane closures of the Turner Turnpike during the bridge construction. These items contain all material, labor, and equipment necessary to perform this work.
Does anybody have any questions? I have one comment. In talking with TJ in length about some of these change orders and these supplemental agreements, not directly in regards to these four, although these are all kind of unique in themselves because they're kind of a variety pack of projects. But my comment is more for the access program and us moving forward, specifically on the Turner. And as I was driving up here today, and all of the engineers that we've actually, and the consultants that we have contracted with and or approved right now, it seems to me that we really need to take our time and to go back and, review the data that we had on previous projects, review all of the prior supplemental agreements and change orders to try to minimize any future change orders or supplemental agreements that we might have coming down the pipe, because I think maybe one project in particular on the access program, but all the other ones we've done. So it seems to me that, as Julie would say, we need to set our standards to their standards from the day that we start in the design part of it. So anyway, that's my quick comment. Are there any other questions?
Agree. I agree with you.
All right. Sounds great.
On a different note, the only comment I would make is that I had somebody comment the other day on the quality of the Cimarron Turnpike and how when they saw the sign that said Turnpike Maintenance Ends, they said they knew exactly at when Turnpike Maintenance ended.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to piggyback off of you, Vice Chairman Barry, we are going to be looking at the design process as a whole and as a team and make sure we are minimizing the future change orders. We'll put a fine eye on that for sure.
Great, great. Are there any other questions? If not, I move that we approve this item as presented.
Thank you, Will. We have a motion for approval of item 1183. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. Voting is ended, and item 1183 has been approved.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Next item is item 1184, which will be presented by Mr. Butler.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Good to see everyone this morning. Get my old reading glasses on here. Engineering Division has 3 items we'd like to present for consideration today. That's items 1184, 1185, and 1186. First item there is 4 construction contract awards. First project there is HEB MC 69A. This is shoulder and guardrail reconstruction from milepost 89 to milepost 106 near Chickasha, Oklahoma. Project also includes installation of mountable curb, new curb inlets and slotted inlet drains, as well as removal of an inside lane curb median from milepost 79.5 to 80.3. As you can see there, we had 5 bidders. Our low bidder, some really good aggressive bids. Our low bidder was TJ Campbell. The amount there of $8,638,938.40. That's about 16.6% below the engineer's estimate. Any questions? Second project there is HEBMC 69B, another shoulder and guardrail reconstruction project. This is from milepost 62 to 78 near Fletcher there on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike. Again, had 5 really good bids. Low bidders Haskell Lemon, LLC, in the amount of $8,919,730. This one was actually about 23.1% below the engineer's estimate. Third one there is item C74. It's asphalt pavement rehab, again, there on the Indian Nation Turnpike from milepost 95.94 to milepost 104.05. This is in the northbound direction only. This is the north end of this project would be near Henrietta there. We had 3 pretty good bids on the project. Low bidders APAC Central, the amount of $3,251,746.77. This is about 10.5% below the engineer's estimate. And our fourth and final project is on the Will Rogers, project WRMC 139. This is asphalt pavement rehabilitation from milepost 325 to 329.6. This goes up near the Missouri state line in Ottawa County. Had 3 bids on the project. Again, APAC Central was our low bid there in the amount of $6,589,990. This one was over the engineer's estimate to the tune of about 18.2%. We reviewed all 4 of these projects and recommend approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Just a comment, you know, the shoulder reconstruction on the H.E. Bailey is very, very much needed. Do we have some other contracts other than these that we're going to let on the shoulders? You or TJ, either one?
Yes, yeah, we have several projects across the system. We're trying
On
to
the
invest a
H.E.
little
Bailey I'm
bit.
talking about.
Yeah, the H.E. Bailey, we do have some on the south section, which would be south of Lawton.
Yeah.
I think that's the only ones left in our program.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
It's nice to see that we have some bids that are certainly underneath their estimate, except that last one, unfortunately. Any reason why the first 2 are that the estimates were significantly higher?
Yeah,
Or we
they,
just getting good bids?
they are certainly higher, Mr. Jones. You know, we're always a day late and dollar short, right, on these estimates, kind of chasing contractors' bids and looking at bid history. We work with ODOT. They review all of our estimates. We try to stay aligned with ODOT and what they do. And all 4 of these projects are right there with the ODOT estimates. Hopefully, this is a sign that, you know, contractors are hungry and prices are going down a little bit.
That's a good.
Happy
thing.
to see them.
Yes,
I'm happy
absolutely.
to see them.
Yep.
I'm not scared of them at all, Mr. Jones. Yeah.
Are there any other questions or comments for item 1184? If not, I move that we approve this item as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We have a motion for approval of item 1184. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. The voting is ended and item 1184 has been approved.
Mr. Butler.
Yes, sir. Item 1185, this is on-demand design contract modifications for the Access Program. Contract numbers MAC-01 with MacArthur Associated Consultants. This contract mod was to provide compensation for additional engineering services for the respective Access Program projects. This change will increase the consultants' not-to-exceed contract amount to include all contract milestones on select projects. Project milestones include plan stages of 30% completion, 60% completion, 90% completion, 100% plan specifications and estimates, bidding phase, construction services, and projects included, and project completion documentation, including as-built plans. Projects included under this contract, there are 4 of them. The first one there is EWC 28001. This is on the east-west connector, the I-44 and what will be the east-west connector interchange. This project's been split into 3 construction projects, 2 interchange projects, and 1 turnkey project. EWC 28002, again on the east-west connector. This is the bridge over the South Canadian River, which will be our new longest bridge, I believe, in the state of Oklahoma. This project has been split into 2 construction projects, the 1 bridge project and 1 turnkey project. The 2 there, the TCC 29001 and 29002, these are what we call the Tri-City Connector. They're on the southwest side of the airport. The amount due under this contract modifications are not to exceed of $2,229,022. The revised contract amounts are not to exceed of $8,647,830. The first 2 there, let me back up. If you recall, we are restarting the Access Program projects. I think the last couple of months we've brought 1 or 2 consultant contracts to revise or add supplement to. And I think that we have made the decision to restart 17 of those. We've renegotiated a lot of those. We've still got 1 major one left for the ones we've restarted, and there's probably close to 50 major projects. But for the ones we're restarting, the EWC 28001 and 28002 are 2 of the projects that we are restarting under this revision. the Tri-City Connector projects we are not restarting at this time. So happy to answer any questions on that one.
Are there any questions or comments for item 1185? If not, I move that we approve this item as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. We have a motion for approval of item 1185. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. Voting is ended, and item 1185 has been approved.
Mr. Butler.
Yes, sir. Item 1186, a similar item as to one we just approved there. This is, again, on-demand design contract modification for the Access Program. This is contract TEI-02 with Team Design, a not-to-exceed amount there of $1,842,602. This mod is to provide compensation for additional engineering services for the respective Access Program projects. This change will increase the consultant's not-to-exceed contract amount to include all contract milestones on select projects. Project milestones include plan stages of 30, 60, and 90% completion, 100% plans, specifications and estimate, bidding phase construction services, and project completion documentation, including as-built plans. We've got 3 projects that are included in this contract. EWC 28003, again on the east-west connector. This is from Western Avenue interchange east to I-35. This project has been split into 6 construction projects: 1 grade and drain, 1 surface, 1 bridge, 1 turnkey, and, 1 interchange and 2 turnkey projects. EWC 28004, again, east-west connector. This is the I-35 interchange. This project's been split into 10 construction projects, 7 interchange projects, and 3 turnkey projects. T26010, this is on the Turner. This is widening from Millfay Road east to include Depew interchange. This project's been split into 3 construction projects, 2 widening projects, and 1 interchange project. This project has not been restarted, but both the east-west connector 28003, this is the one that we will be restarting. The EWC 28004 is the interchange there at I-35 that's currently under scope and fee negotiations. Hope to bring that to you maybe in June for approval. This modification again is for $1,842,602 and a revised contract amount of $11,130,854. Staff's reviewed and we recommend approval.
Any comments or questions for on this item? If not, I move that we approve this item as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1186. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. Voting is ended, and item 1186 has been approved.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Next item is item 1187, which will be presented by Mr. Todd Gould.
And Mr. Berry and board members. Today, 1187 is declare surplus property and authorize director to sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of the same. The following parcels consist of approximate acres and locations identified below. First parcel, SWA 2-14, Section 8, Township 9 North, Range 4 West, 2.1 plus or minus acres on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike in McLean County. Second one is CR 02 in Section 27, Township 18 North, Range 12 East, approximate acres at 44.61 plus or minus on the Creek Turnpike in Tulsa County. With that one, I'd like to point out in December 12th board meeting, item 1151, we brought this one to you, but we had an estimated acres of 5.09 acres. After further surveys and everything, we have revised it to the 44.61. So this is additional acres that we will be going to make sure you know there's a change from original item. A staff review of the properties was conducted and has determined that a portion of the described parcels and approximate acres identified was acquired for previous turnpike projects and is not needed for any construction, maintenance needs of the turnpike system. Based on that determination, staff recommends that the authority consider and vote to declare the above described parcel surplus, authorize the director to obtain a survey appraisal, sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of property according, and a land swap to acquire other properties as needed.
Does anybody have any questions on item 1187?
Todd, I had one question. The second parcel appears to have some wetlands in it. Is that not something we can use for future projects, or have we already used up our quota of that?
Yes, it is already restricted
Okay.
wetlands in that area, and it was associated to another parcel project, the creek itself. So the deed restrictions will stay in place with it. It is part of some property the city of Jinx is kind of working with the Corps and us together to utilize.
Thank you.
Any other comments? If not, I move that we approve item 1187 as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1187. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. The voting is ended, and item 1187 has been approved.
And Mr. Jones, if you might, I would like to let the board know that on May 2nd, we are going to have our next auction, surplus property auction. We're looking at about 28 parcels that we put on up through Daigle Auction House. So as we usually annually do that, we'll let the board know that that's the next one coming for this year.
Thank you.
You know, we've made a lot of progress over the last, 2 years, 3 years, in getting rid of our excess property. Do you have any idea kind of what percentage of our excess property we've managed to get rid of to this point?
The ones that identified, just ballpark, we probably got rid of about 80 to 90% of it. We have really been doing really good turnout with the auction process, especially the public auction. Most of those, 99% of those get sold
Yeah.
through there.
Yeah, I know it's gone well over the last couple of years, so thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Gore. The next item on the agenda is item 1188, which will be presented by Mr. Smith.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Submitted for the consideration of the authority is a request to approve the following maintenance service contract renewals. This is HEB M23 for mowing on the H.E. Bailey Turnpike. Contractors MTS Brush Hogging and the amount of $399,252. This is the first of 2 contract extensions, bringing the current total amount of the contract to $798,504. That averages out to about $28 an acre. Staff has reviewed and the above item and recommends approval.
What was the price per acre again?
$28.
28. That's a little higher than previous, I believe, isn't it?
They're all around $28 right now. Honestly, we rebid these last year, but what was the price last year, Mr. Kalka? 2 years ago. It hasn't gone up much.
Yeah, okay.
And they did not request a bump up, so that was good.
Any other questions or comments on this item? If not, I move that we approve item 1188 as presented.
We have a motion for approval of item 1188. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. The voting is ended, and item 1188 has been approved.
Last item is item 1189, will be presented by Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Berry. Our second item submitted for the consideration of the authority is a request that the following items be approved for purchase from the following state contracts: statewide 35, 140, 141, 142, 1053M, 1057WM, 817 NVP, and 307A. And here in a second, I'll explain why we have so many of those. This is for the Oklahoma Highway Patrol. First contractor there is Cooper Auto Group under statewide 35. This is for 20 two-wheel drive Pursuit Tahoes for a total amount of $1,006,162.40. This averages out to $50,308.12 per Tahoe. Our second item there, you're going to see contractor miscellaneous. That's all those other numbers that I mentioned, because there is a lot of equipment that goes into all of these units. So to outfit those 20 Tahoes, all the emergency equipment, the lights, the radios, all that stuff, that comes out to $874,000. Grand total to outfit these 20 Tahoes and to purchase the Tahoes is $1,880,000. $880,162.40. Maintenance staff has reviewed this with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol and recommends approval.
Educate me if you will, why don't we get them 4x4s?
Major? Major, why don't we get your troopers 4x4s?
The main reason for our turnpike systems, they're not allowed to be pursuit rated, so you can't drive those at a high rate speed with 4 drives.
All right, there's your answer, sir.
Do we have any idea about when the deliverability is going to be these?
So I'm going to refer to the major again. My contact, Dawson Blackley, informs me that he is very adamant about getting this approved so he can get these ordered because it is a slow-going process right now. But Major may actually have an actual timeline. I'm not sure.
I don't have the exact timeline, but our contact with them said that they are guaranteed coming to us. This isn't approved of those surprises.
I will say on our side of things, you approved some vehicles here a couple months ago, and we're already seeing those show up. So
Good. Things
are getting better. Last time it took us over a year to get vehicles, so
Right.
things are improving for
That's
us
good.
anyways.
Good news.
Any other comments, questions for item 1189? If not, I move that we approve this item as presented.
Thank you. We have a motion for approval of item 1189. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Thank you, Mr. Love. Please vote appropriately. Has everybody voted?
I think so. I'm about to find out.
Apparently, we didn't capture one vote.
Did I mess up?
No, there's a no vote.
No voting. I
No.
don't think it's
No.
it's an uncaptured.
No.
Do we need to revote?
Want to redo it?
Oh, we can't re-vote, but if, will the, I don't know, can we have a voice recognition that everybody intended to vote yes, or was there one vote that was intended to be no?
Yes.
Can we have a
I voted
roll?
yes.
Charity, can you call a roll call, please?
Yes, I voted yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
Mr. Combe?
Yes.
Mr. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Titsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, we will reflect in the minutes the electronic voting was an error and that the roll call reflected 6 yes votes.
Thank you. Item 1189 has been approved unanimously. Moving on to our report section. Our first report is the Highway Patrol report. Major Garrett Vowell. Welcome him for his first time to report to us. Looking forward to his reporting. And also, we're glad that we can get you 20 new vehicles.
Chairman Jones, board members, thank you. For the month of February, Turnpike troopers made 3,883 violator contacts, assisted 514 motorists, and investigated 91 motor vehicle collisions. Troopers worked 942 shifts, averaging 186 miles per shift for a total of just over 175,000 miles driven. The Turnpike system reported one fatality that was on the Turner Turnpike. It was a pedestrian that had gotten out of his vehicle and was struck by another vehicle that departed the roadway. They made 8 criminal interdictions, and the specific information on commercial motor vehicle enforcement are aircraft traffic enforcement, toll enforcement, motorcycle enforcement, and collision reduction has been included for your review. Do you have any questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks for your support in getting me here today.
You're welcome. I'm glad you made it.
That was another motor assist.
I will count that next month.
Major Val, I understand you have 2 awards you'd like to present.
Yes, if the board will allow me, I'd like to recognize 2 troopers for their work, and hopefully we can continue to do this in the future. I'd like to bring up Trooper McCrary and Trooper Darnell. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the captain, Paul Christian. Our other captain wasn't able to make it, but I'd like him to come up here as well. Okay. Robert Darnell, on March 6, 2023, at approximately 4 a.m. on the Turner Turnpike near mile marker 142, Trooper Darnell made a traffic stop on a vehicle that was weaving over the fog line several times. During the traffic stop, he observed several indicators of criminal activity and noticed 8 occupants inside this vehicle. Trooper Darnell went above and beyond the traffic stop by investigating into the safety and well-being of the occupants inside the vehicle. These illegal immigrants believed they were traveling to Texas for work and had no idea what state they were even in right now. The occupants were being trafficked from Albuquerque, New Mexico to New York for an unknown reason. Upon completing the investigation, he arrested the driver for human trafficking. Darnell gained assistance with OCPD and transported the occupants to the Mexican consulate in Oklahoma City. Trooper Darnell's actions, without a doubt, saved the lives of these individuals and is recognized for his dedication not only to traffic safety on our turnpikes, but to life safety as well. So, thank you. Okay. Trooper McCrary, on Friday, November 17th, 2023, at approximately 3 p.m., was on a routine traffic patrol on the Creek Turnpike performing toll enforcement at the Elm Gate area. Trooper McCreary observed a white 2011 Chevrolet Camaro pass through the Elm toll area. As the vehicle passed, he observed the tag was covered with a black material that was being used to conceal the tag for a brief moment as it passed through the toll readers. As the vehicle passed, he observed that the black material that was covering the tag was in the process of rolling up so that you could see the license plate. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. Through his diligent investigation during the traffic stop with the driver was utilizing a remote control device inside the vehicle to raise and lower the tag cover to evade paying OTA tolls. There is no way of knowing how many times this subject has utilized this device on the turnpikes in Oklahoma, but undoubtedly this is not the first and only time. Trooper McCurry went above and beyond and is recognized for his high level of observation and efforts on this traffic stop.
What's the status of the driver of that vehicle?
He paid the fines.
I mean, I hope it was a pretty good one.
$500 worth.
Yeah.
Did you get the device? No, I went ahead and let him go on that. I wasn't familiar with the taking of that.
So I have some awards if you guys want to come up front and let him take a picture.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Do we get one of those free pass stickers for getting the 20 vehicles?
Yep. Our next report is Consulting Engineer Jimmy Sparks.
Good morning, Chairman Jones, member of the authority, Director E. Kelly. Do want to start off by saying, expressing my appreciation for the partnership and the work we've done with Mark Kalka and David Mockimer through the years. So spent a lot of time with maintenance, and all of his superintendents are great partners that we work with, and certainly appreciate that. And David, sometime you'll have to tell everyone how many different ways you can say consultant, and you'll have to ask him about that. But anyway, certainly appreciate working with these guys over the years and their contributions. So, and kind of following what Mr. Love said in Darren's report, I did want to call attention to a couple of projects awarded on the H.E. Bailey. And when we think about our major asset preservation, sometimes we don't think about guardrail and shoulders. And certainly, you know, the joint between the concrete driving lane and the asphalt shoulder is one that, as the asphalt gets older and older, requires a lot of maintenance. So it is something that we do need to address, and certainly very key to the safety of our system. So I wanted to call, you know, as we talk about often about asset preservation and reinvestment, there are many forms of it, not just mainline pavements and bridges. So in February, our engineers checked 18 special overloads for travel in the system, so we're seeing pretty consistent numbers for quite a few special overloads there. Impact assessment, there were 2 special inspections in our monthly report, one related to an overheight impact. On March 7th, we were notified of an impact to the westbound direction on the Turner Ridge 31.3, which is the Chandler interchange. The damaged beam can be repaired by heat straightening. It's currently in the bidding process, and we'll open construction bids on April 18th. The other was a request of the Maintenance Division, and we are working with them on some minor repairs on the Creek Turnpike. So, as I say again, I appreciate the frequent inspection our maintenance staff does and that they perform, and we're always happy to assist on their repairs. So, our capital plan project summary is in our monthly report as always, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Thank you, Jimmy. Our next report is the trustee report from Rachel Singleton. Ms. Singleton.
Good morning, Chairman and board members. As bond trustee to the authority, all monthly debt service transfers were made for the semi-annual payments due to the bondholders as required by the trust agreement. To our knowledge, all other requirements set forth in the trust agreement have been satisfied. Questions on my report?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next report is operating results and the financial condition. Ms. Smith. Good morning.
Director E. Kelly, members of the authority, Chairman Jones. The authority prides itself in its financial integrity, so I would be remiss if I didn't offer congratulations again to the Comptroller Division for their Certificate of Achievement for Excellence for 33 straight years. The ACFR is a huge part of going out for a financing, and I wish I had big letters so you could see I'm saying huge in bold and giant font. In going out, it's included in the offering document for every bond issue. Investors and potential investors always communicate how well the ACFR tells our story, and it makes it easy for them to make those decisions on where they want to invest their money, and luckily, they want to invest it in us. So I'll go back to right now. Oh, no, I just want to go ahead and say this too. So this, along with how the authority operates, i.e. OHP patrolling, revenue collection, as you heard during Mr. Mockamer's recognition, the OTA superior road maintenance as highlighted during Mr. Kalka's recognition, and we got to meet all of the superintendents, so we get to see all of that work that goes in the road, and that's something that we have to communicate constantly when we're going out for bid for the bonds, and one of the many reasons that OTA maintains its excellent AA- rating. So I just wanted to point that out, while we still have the ability to do that with Mr. Kalka and Mr. Mockamer here. So back to 2024, you've all received your operations report for February prepared by the Comptroller Division, and we continue to be in a strong financial position and in compliance with our trust indenture, as Rachel just told you. So with unseasonably good weather and an extra day in February for leap year, net toll revenues for February 2024 were 15% higher than February 2023. Transactions outpaced last February by 6.5%, and heavy traffic grew by an impressive 9.1% for that same period. Year-to-date through February 29th, toll revenues are outpacing budgeted projections by a very encouraging 6.4%. So the OTA begins another fiscal year maintaining a consistently conservative approach to its spending. Collectively for the year, division managers held revenue fund operating expenses to 27% under the 2024 operating and maintenance budget. Along with issues related to timing, we also saw some increases to February as expenses related to winter weather continued to come in. So you'll always see that that just timing issues create sort of those differences in how the expenses come in from month to month. So the OTA continues to steadily achieve and exceed its trust-required senior and total debt service ratios. Finally, the Gilcrease transactions continue to climb. The Gilcrease Turnpike has now been open long enough that we can compare February to February year over year. And as I stated last month, 2 new turnpikes New turnpikes have a ramp-up period that can take up to 5 years to level out. The Gilcrease Turnpike is no exception. Daily transactions for the Gilcrease Turnpike have increased 75% as compared to last February, going from an average of 15,373 transactions per day to 26,912. Some of this is attributable to the construction along I-244 in Tulsa, where traffic is down to one lane and causing some congestion. The authority is always happy to offer alternative transportation routes that can assist in taking traffic off congested roads, thereby offering time savings to daily commuters. I'll take any questions if I didn't cover everything, because I think I did.
Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thanks.
Good job as always. Brings us to our director's report, Mr. Joey Kelly.
Thank you, sir. First off, I want to apologize to David for trying to read the work zone awareness proclamation during his retirement discussion there a few minutes ago, but that is, unfortunately, it's just been a day already, and it was a day before the board meeting started. So April does contain Work Zone Awareness Week, which is between April 15th and April 19th, where we really ask the public to recognize the importance of slowing down, wearing their seatbelt, and paying attention in work zones. I want to thank all the board members for wearing orange today. That looks great on all of you, and some of you I know that hurt just a little bit to put some of that orange on. So it was no problem for me. I've worn this tie now 2 months in a row, so which was not a problem for me personally. As we move into the summer, there will be more summer work zones. Obviously, that's the best time for us to do construction. It's when we can do it the safest and most efficient to be the least impactful for the shortest amount of time. So we're always targeting summers to do heavy construction on our highways, heavy maintenance work. Recently, OTA had 3 maintenance workers on the Indian Nation Turnpike injured on the job on March 15th. Work was beginning on some concrete surface repairs when a pickup with an unsecured load on a trailer entered the work zone, and a large bale of hay hanging off the trailer knocked over some barrels, and it also hit a OHP trooper car, damaging it, another OTA vehicle, and then impacted 3 OTA workers, and all 3 of the employees are recuperating at this time. Is that correct, Benny? Yep. So this situation has been could have been so much worse for our workers, their families, and the driver. This is an example of why we ask everybody to be vigilant when it comes to work zones and put away those distractions and make sure and secure your load before taking it to the highway. ODOT just this last week had an unfortunate reminder of the need for work zone safety, and we're deeply saddened by a recent tragedy on I-35 up north in Kay County, where 1 worker was killed and 2 others were injured after an errant car crashed into the crews working on an ODOT project at a bridge rehabilitation site. Our thoughts are with the Wildcat companies who employed the workers that were injured there. We received a proclamation from the governor that I will read now that I'm properly reading my notes that I've got here in front of me. The proclamation says, whereas the state of Oklahoma is dedicated to providing a strong transportation infrastructure system for travel and commerce on both the local and national levels, and whereas the construction and maintenance of Oklahoma highways, interstates, and turnpikes must often be done while roads are still under traffic, where both motorists and highway workers must share the road, and whereas a work zone can be unexpected and temporary during emergency repairs or crashes, placing crews and responders in direct contact with traffic, and whereas in its history, 72 Oklahoma Department of Transportation and Oklahoma Turnpike Authority employees have been killed in the line of duty, more than any other state agency except the military, and whereas hundreds of collisions occur in work zones annually, and many of these fatalities and injuries were caused by inattentive driving, following too closely, and speeding in construction zones. Tragically, motorists are far more likely to be injured or killed in work zones annually than highway workers. And whereas crashes in highway and turnpike work zones can have significant consequences, such as increased congestion, economic impacts for lost time and insurance costs, as well as life-changing impacts. And whereas by state law, the fines for speeding in work zones are doubled and texting while driving is banned, Drivers are asked to remain vigilant behind the wheel and buckle up, as 50% of crashes potentially would have been much less severe for drivers wearing a seatbelt. And whereas ODOT and OTA are highlighting work zone awareness during a month-long public safety initiative with a theme of Make It Home Safe, Make Oklahoma Safe. Now therefore, I, Governor J. Kevin Stitt, do hereby proclaim April 15th through the 19th, 2024 as Oklahoma Work Zone Awareness Week in the state of Oklahoma. In addition to that, we'd like to take a picture with our the proclamation, and then we're going to do the PSA. Okay. So we'll do the picture now. Do you have the proclamation?
You do.
This? This is what I have. I didn't. No? No, I gave David his commendation. I didn't have another thing. That's what got me all confused earlier. See, it really wasn't my fault. Okay, we'll skip the picture. Again, this is just normal for me to have to wing it just a little bit. Oh, we found it. So, okay.
Don't you choose the cover, Joe?
Yeah, let's use the cover.
Yeah, let's just use the cover of that. Is that okay?
Can't read it
Director Kelly, it'd be appropriate if we have our superintendents come stand in front of
Yeah,
sure.
We were going to do that in a minute, TJ, but that's fine.
Smile.
Superintendents.
stranglehold over here.
Hey, I know. I figured we all rise, Jepson. Can you move just a little bit more that way? Yes, just a little bit, not too much. There we go. See everybody? From the end here, move in a little bit. You forward, kind of look this way, just a little bit, and you forward do that. You in the middle, stay like you are. All right, there we go. Smile. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, Russ. Unless we need it again. Do what? Almost there. So the next thing I think we have is the PSA to show.
I'm so excited we're finally doing this. Are you ready to go hiking?
Yeah. I've been waiting for this for months.
Hey, wasn't that our turn back there?
Was it? Hold on, let me check.
Hey man, keep your eyes on the road.
Distractions and work zones never mix. Staying focused on the road keeps you ready for anything, even a work zone. Make it home safe. Make Oklahoma safe.
Okay, a couple of other things I just want to put on the calendar and let everybody know about. We do have an I-44 Turner Turnpike groundbreaking that's scheduled in the coming weeks. It is coming up. We'll have Lieutenant Governor Matt Pinnell. It's on April 16th. Of course, in that location, we're replacing a bridge there at Wellston and redoing a little bit of the interchange with Route 66. So drivers will see some additional construction beginning late in April. And at that location, the Wellston community is helping sponsor and set up that groundbreaking, so we're excited about it. It's a $48 million project that was awarded last fall, and we intend to have it complete in the summer of 2025 in anticipation of the Route 66 centennial. So excited to have that done, have that project started. Part of and it's really an engineering feat, we're going to take the Turner Turnpike off of the bridge that it's on and put it on the ground. As part of that construction, we are having to close Route 66 for what we're anticipating to be almost a year, or a little more than a year, actually. And so that'll happen this summer. The closure will begin, right, LaDan? And we're communicating, working with Wellston, the locals on that. But the goal is to have it obviously open and really nice and fully functional before that, as soon as possible, but really about the centennial to make sure it's done before then. This morning, before we started the board meeting, we did an Eclipse press conference over at the Capitol. And we've been partnering for several years now, working on preparedness for the eclipse. An area of Oklahoma, McCurtain County, that I think has somewhere around 30,000 people in it, population-wise, is going to gain an additional 60,000 people. So in addition to there being a lot of congestion on the roads, we are thinking that it's possible that cell phones may not work. So people who are traveling down into southeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, or Texas, and we want you to stay here in our state, but if you're traveling out of state, you should be prepared for your cell phone to quit working. The Department of Tourism and all of at all of their locations around the state, as well as here at ODOT, and at OTA, we have state maps, and it might be a good idea to pick up a paper state map, especially if you're traveling to an area in Oklahoma or another state that you're not necessarily familiar with the highway system in that location. We've asked drivers to obviously prepare for delays. Traffic is already picking up as people move and start migrating toward the path of totality. Part of the presentation this morning talked about the tremendous difference between being on the edge of totality at 99% coverage versus being really in the totality mark, and how impactful that is and how different the experience is. So we know there's going to be a lot of people really crowding into southeastern Oklahoma this next week. The totality time is in the early afternoon of April the 8th, so a week from yesterday in the afternoon. Please don't stop on the highways to view the eclipse. The highway locations aren't going to be good locations to stop anyway. Headlights are going to come on, and that's going to affect your ability to see the eclipse. So get away from the highway, take an exit, go to someplace safe in a parking area to view it. Obviously, for people that will be driving during the time that this is occurring, you should be prepared to look for pedestrians, because there are going to be people that, despite our message, are going to get out of their vehicle anyway along a busy highway to view the eclipse. So we want everybody to pay attention to that. Try to be as familiar with the area as you can and have some patience, especially when it comes to trying to get home. Like I said, people are starting to migrate to that area over the next several days. This weekend will be a heavy push, and then on Monday, the anticipation is that immediately following that eclipse, people will try to all go home at the same time. And so if you can take your time leaving from your destination, from your place where you're watching the eclipse, to move home slowly and safely, that's what we would encourage, just to try to stay later. As a part of this director's report, and something that I'd like to start doing, we're going to ask, with your permission, Mr. Chairman, Marcus Williams, to give a short update just on some of the inner workings of customer service. In the coming months, as Marcus is coming to the podium, in the coming months, we will try to highlight a specific director and their key piece of our organization. each month to provide a little bit better insight into the inner workings of OTA. Marcus?
Thank you, Director Kelly. Thank you, board members. Wanted to talk through, I did hear you, Director Kelly. He said short, so I'm going to trim down what I stated. But I do want to talk through customer service and how they play a crucial role in everything that we do. I had a couple of things I wanted to talk about today, but I received an email while we were here about an individual who was contemplating suicide. And our caller was distraught. We had this happen back in 2022, and one of our agents in Walters took that call. And while she calmed that individual down, that individual, we went through our protocol, we contacted the sheriff's department. Our caller stayed on there until the sheriff's department reached that individual. So I think about how maintenance is our sight of OTA. People see maintenance, but the voice of our authority is customer service. And I'm proud today to say that there are individuals, if you think about it, there are 77% of customer service workers feel that this job is stressful. And 83% of those individuals have stress at home. And when you can wipe out what's going on at home and then still be an ambassador of OTA brand, that is something special to me. So we'll go through these things and I won't belay the hour. So here's our team smiling now because they haven't gone through training. That first picture. So we'll go through some of these numbers. As you can see in 2023, when I started, and David, I appreciate, David hired me in 2018, we were averaging 45,000 calls a month. Who would know that in 2022, we would get up close to 100,000, 2023, 100,000 a month, and then 2023, we would break the million calls over the year. So we have leaps and bounds. We have done very well as far as taking calls, answering it. You can see those numbers, other than our service level, have increased and decreased where they needed to go. Any of these numbers that you see are higher than industry standards. So we have an excellent call center. Folks take pride in being an ambassador of our brand. Here our surveys show, we talk about this, you get a report on this every month. Our surveys show what the callers feel and how they think. These two numbers are, if you see 99.9, 99.94, I've never seen any calls like this, any surveys like this while I was vice president at Xerox and other areas. These are remarkable numbers, and I appreciate our management in leading and guiding and coaching individuals to this level of customer service. So for us, we do internal quality review, and this is our way of policing what we do on each call. So our internal auditors look at the service that we give, each type call from Pike Pass is our CSB calls to plate pay. I would normally want the Pike Pass quality to be a lot higher because that's our preferred service. But here you see we're in the high 94s. Industry standard is about 92%. Convenient ways to pay. We always want you to enroll. We want you to be a Pike Pass customer. We want to do self-help tools where, you won't have to call customer service, but if you do, you're going to get the best service. I call ourselves the Chick-fil-A of customer service. We want to make sure that we give that high-end customer service experience, regardless of if you're plate pay, if you're Pike Pass, but those are the things we look forward into. And then last but not least, these are the individuals who are the ambassadors of our brand. They do things excellent every time. We want to make sure that we treat each customer with that experience, with that extra oomph of customer service each time. So that concludes what I have. I also like to thank Mark Kalka. When I started in 2018, Mark pulled me to the side a week later, and he just really embraced me for being the new kid on the block. So I appreciate that, Mark. The other one that did that, just to make sure that I wouldn't do anything that would mess up OTA, was Julie Porter. She continues to do that, but I appreciate everything that you've done for me. It's not always comfortable being a new person and not knowing the ropes. So I thank you and Steve for being there for me. Thank you for the time, and thank you for allowing me to talk about customer service. They are very good individuals who love what they do, and we appreciate everything the board has done to allow us to continue to have that excellent service.
Marcus, I've mentioned this to you before several times, I think, but I'm going to say at least 90% of the compliments that I get on the Turnpike Authority have to do with customer service, your area of responsibility, and that bears repeating to everybody here. So,
thank you. Appreciate that, Mr. Love.
Appreciate you.
Do we have training to tell people how to keep people from committing suicide on the phone? I mean, how do you do that?
So what
That's
happened?
amazing.
A couple of years ago, we had an individual who was talking about suicide, and we had nothing. We didn't have a process. So we do have training that talks through that. The process. What normally happens is, and what I'll do is I'll just read real quick the email. Judah received a call from customer who made suicidal statements. Chris and I joined. This is Chris and Jeff joined the call. Chris coached. I was in the background. Following the suicide caller's guideline is what we have. We contacted Broken Arrow Police Department, who transferred them over to Wagner County Sheriff, who took the caller's name, address, phone number. That's what we normally do. We try to keep them on the line, and we make sure we know exactly where they're at so we can push that to the law enforcement until they get there. So
I would just say that I'm glad we have a process for that, but even with that one or the first one, the creativity and the thinking on your feet and recognizing the seriousness of the situation is just very deserving of a lot of kudos and compliments. So
thank you. I appreciate it,
well
Ms.
done.
Weber. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Victor.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Thank you, Joe. That concludes our business. I ask for a motion for adjournment to our next scheduled meeting of Tuesday, May 14th, 2024 at 10 a.m.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Thanks, Ms. Weber. Please vote appropriately. Voting's ended, and we are adjourned to May 14th. Thank you for your attendance.